And we're back with another NBA Observations. It's Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much again for joining us. Truly appreciate you doing so right here on the Lakers Fast Break. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Go ahead and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when the latest or latest Lakers Fast Break or NBA Observations comes right to you on YouTube. But it wouldn't be an NBA Observations without a excellent NBA observer, and you got to go ahead over to the J Notes and find out how well he observes the NBA. It is, of course, Matt John. Matt, great to have you back on the show. I know you didn't hear this yet, but we did dedicate the Monday. Well, I think did he come on Monday? The Tuesday show to you because we covered Utah and Boston on the show. As far as I'm concerned, we're doing a series at the very end on the month on with Caleb Ponce. We're covering two teams every week, one that didn't do so well and one that did well. And this week was Utah and Boston. I said, in honor of Matt John, we need to go ahead and do this.
Thank you. Go me then. That's a big ego boost.
There you go. No worries indeed. But it is, of course, the NBA Finals. The NBA Finals are rocking and rolling. Again, we covered it on an emergency pod right after that game this week. But it is the greatest comeback in NBA Finals history, with the Knicks coming back from 29 points down to win the game. Many miscues and many things that went right for the Knicks. Many things went wrong for the Spurs, but it heads back to San Antonio with a chance for New York to finally get that first series victory since 1973. I know it's everybody in New York will be watching it, but let me ask you this, Matt. Your thoughts overall on the series. Has it been more a series that New York has won, or won a series more that San Antonio has lost?
Well, first of all, I want to preface this to any Knicks fans who are listening. You're welcome. I've been wrong every single time about the Knicks. So every time I have picked against them, they have rubbed it in my face. So I do think that kind of answers your question of like, I do think this is a series that the Knicks have earned. They've been awesome in this series. They probably should have won game 3 too. Like, this probably should have been a sweep. Like, they have just, this really just go back to what I said. I think we discussed this the last time I was on your show. This really is this is showing some shades of like the 95 Magic, the 2012 Thunder, the team that has an immense amount of talent, but their experience really is holding them back. Like, they have this insane otherworldly talent on their team, and even then the other team just, they know what they're doing. They know exactly who they are and where exactly to go. Like, and more losses like this, like this really does stick a knife in the back of the Spurs. I think it's over. Like, when you lose, not just that, not when you just go down 3-1, but you blow that big of a 30-point swing, that kills you. Like, that's ultimately like how do you come back from that? It's the ultimate. Yeah, the Knicks really just aren't scared of this team. Despite the fact that they have, the most intimidating player the NBA probably has seen since Shaq. Like, I'm not even trying to fire a shot at LeBron. He's just the most physically imposing, I should say. Like, I do think this is a series that the Knicks just have earned from start to finish. Just like, I'm not even sure what I can say that hasn't already been said about them. But I just think, man, the Knicks, they are in this title just like the predecessors that came before them.
I'm going to say this again. I still think the San Antonio Spurs have a chance. I said that earlier this week. I said don't bail it in just yet, because, like you said, they have the most imposing individual seen the NBA since Shaq. And I again, we've seen them make mistakes in this playoffs, and they've still seemed to have overcome it each and every time. But they've got their back up against the wall, and there's no room for more mistakes. And that's the thing with a young team like that. The susceptibility for more mistakes is still possible. But when your most veteran player out there makes the most egregious mistake, That might be the most telling sign of all, Matt.
Oh man, like I'll also say this: like Josh Hart and De'Aaron Fox were having a choke off. Like both of them were giving the game right back to the other team. So I was like, whoever wins this game, fans are going to remember what player decisively played a role in that loss. If the Spurs had won that game, oh boy, Josh Hart may never be able to live down that one of the most embarrassing missed dunks I've ever seen. But Fox, oh my goodness, like what? It's hard for me to. I can't even think of a way to defend that. Like, what are you doing, dude? Like, you've got the ball, and you've got one of the league's best defenders on, like, right on you. What are you doing? Like, going to the bucket, like, and more, and it gets worse when you think about it because it's just like this is a guy who we're paying a max contract to, who's made one also, who's a good player, quality player, but a max contract level of quality? No, no, he's not. So it's the Spurs definitely have made their fair share of mistakes. I guess I shouldn't just sweep that under the rug, but I do feel like that has also played a hand in the Knicks' experience and just knowing where to go. Like just their team having guys that know how to compete on this level has really paid off big time for them in this series.
And like you said, if De'Aaron Fox with the most egregious mistake, I think at the worst possible time, even just try to slam it so you can get a foul, if that's the case. But you could have just just could have ran the clock out. You could have just ran the clock out. But putting up a layup is a recipe for disaster, like you said, against such a great athlete like OG Anunoby. And yeah, it just absolutely was mind-numbingly just stupid to do that. And he said he thought was outrunning him. And well, there you go. I'll just leave it at that. But when Charles Barkley calls you the dumbest organization in basketball history, it's really hard to go ahead and deny that the way they acted in that second half. But it's not just what those two. When Biyama missed free throws, but Mitch Johnson, I put a lot of heat on. Last series with Cleveland and New York, I think you and I talked about this. I talked about Kenny Atkinson and probably the worst coaching job I've ever seen in my entire life at that level was by Kenny Atkinson in that 22-point run that New York Knicks had on Cleveland. This has to go down there right with it because absolutely the mistakes Mitch Johnson made, not calling timeout at the appropriate times to slow down the momentum, not just be helping these guys enough when they need it the most to try and settle things down because this is such a young team that's losing its composure right before our very eyes. I again, Mitch Johnson is a younger coach at 38, but you wanted the big job and you're at this level. And at some point in time, you have to take responsibility for what happened out there on that floor.
And going along with that, like something that really did bug me was that what really did go wrong for the Spurs was playing Wembanyama as much as they did. Because by the end, when the Knicks were coming back, Wembanyama was burnt out. He was justifiably just done. He was like, I can't play anymore. And truth, even the Knicks were coming back, you could have had him out for a little bit of a stretch there. Have Cornette in there just to even if they are coming back, you're at least giving Wembanyama some rest so that he can recuperate a bit. I get that it's Wembanyama, but like when the Knicks were right back in the game, he was out of gas. And unfortunately when that happens, the Spurs are it's kind of hard to figure out what their best options are. I'm also second guessing why was Dylan Harper not on the floor when the Knicks really were right there? Like
Yep,
Harper,
exactly.
he's a young
100%.
player. I get it. He's a rookie. Asking that out of a rookie is insane. But I was just like, why is he not playing? Because as De'Aaron Fox, he's supposed to be the veteran of this crew, and he's not doing what veterans should do. Veterans are steady presences. So like just so many things were just like as much as I, do say, yeah, the Knicks, I do stand by my point that I do think the Knicks earned this. They weren't as bad as that 29-point deficit made them look. And like it doesn't. I can't say necessarily. I did think the Spurs were going to win this game, but I do think that a lot of Mitch Johnson's mistakes, they were hard to ignore at the end because I do feel like the Spurs really could have put this away, and they didn't.
They didn't. They didn't at all, indeed. But once again, it is Matt John. Please go ahead and check them out the J Notes, jnotes.com. And I know, like you said, that you're thinking that this series is all but over. And I'm still thinking that there's a little bit of fight left in the Spurs, especially because they're heading back to San Antonio for game six. Yeah, no, for game five, excuse me, game five. Hello, Gerald, game five. And as far as that's concerned, with game five, I still think there's two games in San Antonio that they can draw strength from. That is dangerous to New York because the thing is, New York cannot just become complacent now and think, like you said, they think they have their number. They think they have San Antonio's number. But all it takes is just one game to swing around in San Antonio's favor, and we might be talking a little bit more of a chance for the Spurs.
It's very possible, and I do think Johnson can definitely learn from something like this. I also think that games like Game Four, like I'll just say this, like I said this way when they first acquired him, but OG Anunoby, like Game Four proved this is why you not only get a guy like that, but you pay good money for a guy like that. He's not a star, but he's a game changer. He just changes so much on the floor. He doesn't fit the traditional mold of a star, but he has the impact of one. I really dislike when people say that this guy's a role player. It's like it's a very shallow interpretation of stars and role players. It's like Derek White. Like he's not a star, but he really does change so much about the Celtics when he is on the floor. Like he's that impactful, and I think Anunoby's kind of cut from the same cloth. Of their teams are paying both of their teams pay them good money to do what they do because they change so much when they are on the floor. So like, and the point of me saying all of that is that like I think the Knicks have Anunoby is leading the charge, but they have multiple game changers on their team to withstand in case someone on the Spurs does get hot. So like, and for what it's worth, Knicks lose this game without Anunoby. Like it is, I don't even think it's debatable
No.
without the iconic block on Fox and also the tip in. But that again, that is why you go out and you get Anunoby. To me, it's kind of they also like the Celtics with White. They kind of got lucky that they got him for RJ Barrett, a decent scorer, and Manuel Quickly, who another decent scorer, but none of those guys in terms of impact compare to him, even if he doesn't put up the same numbers as them. And Game Four kind of proves why. So like there's so I guess like your original question was do I think this? I think the Spurs can, but I do think that the Knicks have the OG Anunoby, the Mitchell Robinson, the Mikal Bridges. Those guys can withstand in case someone on the Spurs just goes off out of nowhere.
We will have to wait and see, but again, it's game five coming up here on Saturday. Looking forward to it, and absolutely going to be a great time watching it. This has been the most viewed NBA Finals of this century, which is just awesome to see. I wonder why. Huh. The most popular media market finally getting into the NBA Finals since 1999. What a coinkydink. And then also the face of the NBA that they're going to be pushing for the years to come, and Victor Wembanyama. Indeed. I do know one of the things that has been talked about, like you talked about and mentioned earlier, was about Victor Wembanyama and how Mitch Johnson utilized Victor Wembanyama throughout the game. And like you talked about, you need to space it more with different aspects of it and give him a little bit more rest. We saw actually several players, and Mitchell Robinson that first quarter when he wasn't expecting to play, blew up in about 4 minutes as far as it's concerned when he replaced Cat, who went out early with those fouls. Again, these coaches have to understand. I understand they're giving. It just shows you the level of what they're giving as far as the effort is concerned from in the finals, as opposed to what they give in the regular season. Because we're seeing before our very eyes, a lot of these players get very exhausted very quick.
It is a war of attrition now more than ever, and to go on a title run. It's why like we don't see teams repeat. We see teams fall apart because they just don't have the stamina for it. So like it's I the funny thing is I think that definitely harps true, but like when you notice the Spurs path to the NBA Finals compared to the Knicks, where the Knicks they won 10 straight games. They were well rested by the time the finals started. And the Spurs, their path wasn't super difficult. They went 6 with the Timberwolves, I think, and went 7 with the Thunder. Like they
Mhm.
went up against the reigning champions and a team that made the Western Conference Finals for 2 straight years. Um, so yeah, that journey was definitely not an easy one to take, and I do think that that is kind of showing itself. Like if like I do think the Spurs definitely have to watch how they handle Wembanyama from here on out because I don't think that like do I should say that like if you've got a 20 plus point lead, like and if you start to lose it, oh well, you start to lose it, but at least you can rest Wembanyama for a couple minutes here and there.
Absolutely. That's something they're going to have to look at again as we get into Saturday's game, but I'm definitely here for it. It is, of course, game 5, NBA Finals. Absolutely excited. And again, I still think that there's going to be some fight left in San Antonio. I think De'Aaron Fox has something to prove. He better prove it because based on, like you said, what he makes comparative to the rest of the team, is going to be something. And this is what I've talked about as far as that backcourt of the future that does not include De'Aaron Fox and having not having Dylan Harper out there when you need it, when he has clearly played probably of the three, probably consistently the best against the New York Knicks, and to not have him out there at key moments in time, that was frustrating to me because again, you can see it, Matt, as something that again I've talked about here for a long time with Caleb about how the future of the backcourt is now with San Antonio with Harper and Castle and Fox. Again, I don't know if he's going to stay. I don't know if he's going to go, but it certainly makes it harder for him to stay after what we saw on Wednesday night.
Well, and even if that's the rationale of the Spurs, I'm having a hard time thinking who's taking him. The one thought that came to mind to me was maybe the Kings. I was like, oh, but that's right. They're the ones who traded Fox to the Spurs in the first place. So it's like it's tough, like because I think Fox is a good player. He's not a great one. I don't. I think Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle are probably closer to being your second best player on a title team than Fox is. I think Fox is more of like a quality third guy. And unfortunately, not like I wouldn't necessarily say the Spurs are playing him like he is their second banana, but they're paying him, I think, around 50 million, and that's kind of a problem for someone like him. Like, like I, there are a fair amount of bad contracts in the NBA right now, but like it's Fox also. I won't even say that Fox hasn't been terrible as a whole in this series. He did make that really clutch shot in Game 3. Like he did make a few pretty darn good plays that that I think kept the Spurs in the game that they won. But if when you lose the series, they don't remember when you play well. They remember when you play badly. So like Fox, if they lose this series, like and if it happens tomorrow, like Fox is going to become funny. Pun very much intended here. He's going to go from De'Aaron Fox to De'Aaron Elephant in the Room.
That's for sure, indeed. But again, I think their future is bright in San Antonio. But like you said, it's really hard to get at that level with teams not having been able to repeat now for almost a decade, and doing so, you're going to need everything go your way once again. And many things have gone the way of San Antonio. But with that said, Oklahoma City, Utah Jazz, who you cover, loading up indeed. Of course, the Denver Nuggets looking to rebuild. The Lakers looking to go. You know what? I don't even know what the Lakers are going to do because the Lakers go from one day making this trade or that trade to, and we'll talk about a Lakers trade on your site as far as that's concerned that you thought was hilarious. And then also as well, other teams in the Western Conference loading up. So again, San Antonio, while it has a lot of advantages, youth, talent, assets going forward, it's how you manage them to go ahead and keep them at this level so we can get a return, or so San Antonio fans can get a return trip from the Spurs maybe as early as next season.
Well, I'll also say this about the Spurs. This is also something that came to my mind. This series is reminding me of Timberwolves versus Mavericks from 2 years ago, where the
Mhm,
Timberwolves came off a series where they beat the reigning champions. Very impressive that they did that. And everyone thought they're going to the finals. Like, this is like, if you beat prime Nikola Jokic, like, this is it. This is your time. But it also harkens back to that iconic quote, one of the best quotes of Breaking Bad. If you've seen that show, right?
mhm.
Like what Mike tells Walt, he says, just because you shot Jesse James, don't make you Jesse James. And I feel like in this series, like that Spurs team was well constructed to beat the Thunder, but that's not necessarily the same thing as you're the team to beat. So, and I do think that even though they matched up very well with the Thunder, that didn't mean they matched up well with the Knicks. So I do think that this will definitely. I'm not pessimistic about the Spurs long term. I do think they will lose this series, but obviously, like, this was the first playoff run with Victor Wembanyama. It's insane that he got to the NBA Finals. It's the same way Shaq making the NBA Finals in his third year. That is crazy that he did that. So I mean, it's not like there's much to be downtrodden about besides obviously losing. So the Spurs are definitely going to be here for like a long period, and they can withstand overpaying De'Aaron Fox. They are talented enough that they can be like, yeah, whatever, we'll just let that pass. But I do think this harkens back to like you can like we've seen teams have really impressive series victories that don't pull it out in the end. Like and but at the same time, I do think that the Spurs like this is just the first step for them, and everyone has most NBA legends have to lose first. They have to know the sting of losing. They have to know what it's like to be there, and that is how I think the cookie's just going to crumble for them when this series is over.
Well, we will find out. Like you said, game 5 is coming up on Saturday, and I'm looking forward to it. But before we head on out, I did have to talk about your great site, the J Notes, where you go ahead as part of the fan side experience, give people the insight of what's going on with the Utah Jazz. And your one of your latest articles in regards to the Lakers for Lakers fans out there. I think the title says it all. That the Jazz would laugh if the Lakers offered this embarrassing package for Walker Kessler. And you're not the only one. And it's funny because Eric Pincus of I think Bleacher Report, he put out a embarrassing trade because he writes on the Lakers,
Mhm.
but he put out an embarrassing trade for I think it was Giannis, if I remember correctly. But it's just embarrassing what you're trying to do. It's okay. I want to, as Rob Palenka, I want to get rid of all my problem children or my underperformers, and I would like to give them to you. Maybe throw in one first round draft pick, and then get myself a quality player in return. When you write these articles and you talk about this and talk about these proposals that you hear and see, it's just like, who do you think you're fooling here? These guys are paid millions of dollars to run these organizations. If they're that stupid to take that type of deal, fire them immediately. Because again, as much as I want the Lakers to go ahead and I've been a known Rob Palenka dissenter. I really think he's not. I think he's an average GM at best. And I think the Lakers need to move on from him. But if he can construct some type of trade and hoodwink somebody into getting a Giannis or a Kessler for packages like you're talking about in your article, and then packages like we're talking about in Eric Pincus' article and other articles I've seen. It's ridiculous. The Lakers just don't have player assets outside of Austin Reeves that anyone would actually desire.
Yeah, like, and to be fair, the website who made that trade, I don't think that was
Mm.
like any Lakers with any Lakers ties.
No,
It was more of a
no.
Luca. It was more of like a we want the best team around Luca, which makes sense. Um,
Basket news, Edvina.
yeah, I
Who's
mean,
us?
I think his other two trades actually weren't that bad from what I read because one of them was Miles Turner, who is
Mhm.
overpaid, but he is, for what he would help with what the Lakers want to do. He is overpaid. But yeah, like reading that proposed trade, I was like, so the Jazz are taking all of the Lakers' most expendable assets for Kessler, someone who is just a year removed from proving himself to clearly be one of the best 100 players in the NBA. Like he's an excellent rim protector. He's a great rebounder. Actually, before he went out, he was showing that he actually might be a better 3-point shooter and playmaker than people give it credit for. It's why I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with him. And I was like, yeah, the Jazz, like, I you could sell me on the idea that they might trade him, but I was like, but it's only for an upgrade, or it's only for someone who they think is going to help the team more. Austin Reeves, I don't think he would, but that he's someone who's on that level that would make me think, okay, if you get me Austin Reeves and maybe someone who can decently replace what Kessler does, you could talk me into it. But I think the Jazz are like, no, we're pretty content with where we are. Like, there's nothing really out there that I think would satisfy them for Kessler unless they're getting like someone like undeniably better than them, better than him.
Absolutely. So again, keep up those trays, but yeah, I'm sorry, anything including Dalton Connect, Jared Vanderbilt, DeAndre Ayton, in any package, as I've seen twice now this week, is just, yeah. Come on, who are we kidding here? I love the Lakers more than any team in sports, but you know what? I'm not going to let my blindness, as far as it's concerned, purple and gold blindness, blind me enough to say, you know what? Yeah, that's a deal that's going to happen indeed. No, I did want to note, I don't know, to your editor, on that article, it's actually should say a 2026 NBA draft pick. It says 2025 on that NBA draft pick.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, just want to make sure not. It's like, yeah, it would be a really bad trade last year.
Gotta be accurate. So
Yeah, no, no worries. Just thought I mentioned that to you. But you know what, Matt, I read the articles that you've done. You've done such an amazing job on it. And I'm telling you what, the Jazz, you're going to be one of the more popular writers out there coming up this time here in a little bit, because the Jazz are just loading up. I mean, people are getting excited. I can see there's a lot of buzz going around the Jazz. And here in Vegas, there is an awareness, as far as it's concerned, among sports bettors about how good the Jazz can be next season. The thing is, do they put it all together quickly, or is it still going to be another year before they do that? That's the question I think a lot of people are asking.
actually, I'm glad you asked about that because I actually think I'm going to write about that like in the coming days or weeks. Where this past season, like despite the fact that the Jazz really didn't have a much better season compared to 2025, there's a lot more optimism, and that goes beyond what they have coming up. Like before Kessler went down, they looked pretty formidable. Like I
Yeah.
some of the lineups that they were playing were excellent. Like you've talked about how much you like him, and I don't blame you because I do think he's going to be an underrated asset for them. Kyle Filipowski with Kessler and Markkinen was actually a really good trio, and along with Keontae George's ascension, Cody Williams started looking better, and then they had Jaren Jackson Jr. for 3 games, which he preferred. He was even though everyone knew he was going to get season-ending surgery as the deal was struck. JJJ did say, listen, I want to play a few games with my new teammates just to see. And you saw the vision immediately with this team.
Mhm.
So, like, there definitely will be some questions, like, not just about who they pick, but who's going to start. Because I do think if they take someone like Peterson, it will definitely be debatable who's going to come off the bench between him and Ace Bailey. I would lean more towards Bailey, but Peterson sounds like he's kind of an insane player. If it's Cameron Boozer, he's coming off the bench. But anyway, like I am very much intrigued to see because like I'm excited because Will Hardy, like, he has shown his excellence only in stretches. And the only reason why we haven't seen more of that is because Utah's like, nope, we can't do this. We can't be good. Like, we
His hands are
actually
tied.
are,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. Like, so I am excited to see what he looks like now that the training wheels are coming off, now that they're taking off the kid gloves, so to speak. But I ver I'm looking forward to see. I do think that there's a strong possibility that they do put it together like immediately, and at the same time, like if they don't, it's not the end of the world. Like that's another thing I wrote about for the J notes was the bar isn't that high for them this season, and yet at the same time, wouldn't shock anyone if this team is insanely good.
Well, and I think you're right. We see it because we see with San Antonio a team exceeding expectations on how fast that they're growing. The same thing could happen with the Jazz where they, put it all together quickly and exceed expectations as another powerhouse in the West, that can compete on a depth and talent-wise, with OKC and San Antonio. So, yes, definitely looking forward to it indeed, and I just think Peterson, more I see Peterson, it fits. It just fits. Sometimes you don't have to overthink things, and as much as I know Boozer as far and Debanza for being at BYU, Boozer for having his dad still with the organization, I understand the fits there as far as chemistry-wise and for the team. Um, on the front, but the actual team on the roster, what may fit best is if they go and they select Peterson, in my opinion.
My honest takeaway from this draft is they can't do anything wrong. Like
Mm,
the only way they like Danny Ainge, like he does have a history of thinking outside the box. I actually think he doesn't get enough credit for how good of a drafter he is. There was a dumb narrative for years from Celtics fans that he didn't know how to draft because he didn't take Jimmy Butler in the late first round or Chandler Parsons or DeAndre Jordan late in the second round. It's like, guys, that speaks more to everyone in the NBA than it does about Ainge. But
mhm,
when he gets his hands on, when he finds someone that he likes, more often than not, he's right. Now he's not always right. Like
mhm.
the Celtics avoided disaster when they tried to trade almost everything to get their hands on Justice Winslow back in 2015. I think Celtics fans are very glad that that didn't happen. Um, but anyway, like getting back to the Jazz, like Ainge might do something that absolutely no one saw coming, but like I do think that his track record speaks for it. Now he knows what he's doing, and for all we like, I do think you're right about Peterson. I do think that is probably the pick. I think he does fit best, even compared to Bonsa or Boozer. I, the one edge that they have compared to Peterson is that they do have ties to Utah, so I do that would get them to stay. But I do think Peterson, like I think he's ready to go, and I think he and Keontae George would be a fantastic duo together.
Well, you can go ahead and keep getting updates on it right there at the J Notes. Matt John does an incredible job talking about Deron Williams. Of course, what's going on with Walker Kessler, talking about the Angels and talking about everything going on behind the scenes, the upcoming draft. Absolutely, a lot of things going on in Utah, and Matt John has it covered with the J Notes. Indeed, absolutely. It's great that you're writing articles because you know something interesting is going to happen with the team that you cover. Yeah, I think that has to be a good feeling. Has to be a good feeling.
I will say this, like compared to last but this time last year, it was so dire, like because they had a horrible season. They had to bench all their guys that were actually playing well for them, but couldn't trade them, like John Collins. And like it was just not a great feeling. And then they get the number 5 pick, which everyone freaks out about, like because it was like we tanked for that. But Ace Bailey, of course, proves that wrong right away. It's amazing how much changes in a year's time.
Yeah.
So the Jazz, I think I do it wouldn't surprise me if they are the talk of the town pretty quickly once the season starts.
Again, barring any health issues, if they bring everybody back like you're talking about, this team is, yeah, quite formidable indeed from what I'm seeing on paper. Absolutely. But we will wait and see. But please go ahead. Until then, go ahead and check out Matt John at the J Notes because he'll have a ton of articles waiting for you there to check out on the Utah Jazz. So if you want to school up on a Western Conference rival of the Los Angeles Lakers, and they will be a Western Conference rival the way that they're stacking up right now, go ahead and hop on over to the J Notes indeed because Matt does an incredible job there. But Matt, game 5, Saturday night, San Antonio. They'll be rocking with all their pastel colors and whatnot. I've been afraid to approach my contact, Megan, who covers the San Antonio Spurs, because she's probably just rolling through the emotions right now. But any last thoughts before we head on out?
Well, I mean, the Giannis rumors continue to perk up, and so I'll just say this much: like this hasn't been said out loud, but this is me reading the tea leaves on the situation. My honest take is that I think Milwaukee wants Boston to want Giannis because Miami's offer for him is pretty laughably bad. Like
It's not Lakers bad, but it is laughably bad. So
The same Tyler Harrow that Portland said absolutely not. We are not taking him for Damian Lillard, and you think Milwaukee's going to take him? Like, it's why I think that like a bunch of these leaks about saying, "Oh, Giannis wants Boston." I do think that's Milwaukee being like, "Boston, it's okay," like because Boston gives them the chance to start fresh, start with a clean slate, which I don't think Miami can really do. Like because they can acquire Jalen Brown and then reroute him elsewhere where they can get assets, and I just
yeah.
don't think Miami has anything close to that. Like they have some okay young players. I don't think they have anyone that screams, "Oh yeah, that guy's a future franchise player."
How
Like
many firsts can they throw out? Because the only saving grace for the Lakers outside of Austin Reeves and a Giannis trade is the three number ones. How many number ones can Miami, unless they acquire more? But barring any of that, how many do you think they can throw? Is it two or is it? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. Like, I mean, I think like I just it's not even just that. I also think that something that the Celtics can do, like I'm not sure if the Bucks like I think the Bucks will try to get them to do this. I do think that they would try to say, "Hey, can you take Miles Turner too?" Like we really want to start fresh. So like I could see them like trying to talk Boston into acquiring him just because hey, like you get Giannis, one of the best 30 players ever, like he's still relatively in his prime. You get a center that on paper should fit with him. He didn't with us, but only because our goose was cooked even before that happened. So I do think that Milwaukee's really like. I think they've called Boston, and this is my take. I'm not revealing any intel, obviously, but I think they've called Boston, and Boston's just not taking their calls until recently. Boston said, "Look, we're not saying we're not interested, but we're not saying we're." I'm sorry. Boston's told them, "Look, we're not saying we're interested, but we're not saying we're not interested." Like the fact of the matter is, the one Celtics insider, Adam Himmelsbeck, has said nothing about this. Like, if they weren't interested, he would say they're not interested. Like, but if he says that they are, like, if they are interested, like, if he, anytime he has revealed that the Celtics want someone in the Brad Stevens era, it is, oh yeah, they're going after him. They want
Yeah.
him more than anything. So, like, he was the one who said, "Yeah, they're kind of in on Drew Holiday back in 2023." And next day, Drew Holiday was a Celtic. And then he said, "Yeah, they're kind of looking into Damian Lillard." And then when he signed with Portland, he was like, "Oh, Boston was really close to that." So he is kind of the Celtics guy that everyone should be paying attention to. Like if he says something on the matter, fans should absolutely pay attention. So I think it is really interesting. I do think that this is going to intensify once the finals are over because I do think the league's just like, look, we don't want this overshadowing the finals. So I do like once the finals are over, I do think this is going to intensify a bit more. But I do think that the Bucks are really begging the Celtics to get involved because I think they know our bet the best way we can start fresh is getting assets and getting rid of these bad contracts off our payroll. And I do think the Celtics kind of give them that opportunity.
I think the Heat can throw two. Let me see. No, they can throw three at three firsts at Milwaukee. It looks like from what I'm seeing on Fanspo. So um, I mean, Clue Ware is going to be great. Is going to be a good one, I think, but not it. Like you said, the Tyler Hero deal end of it. That's not as attractive, and that's the part I think that it comes to a full stop for Pat Riley unless he can figure out some way around it. Comparative what Boston can offer, comparative what San Antonio, OKC, some others teams can offer. I think it's just a little bit more attractive than what Miami or what the Lakers could do with Austin Reeves and three firsts as well.
Yeah, like I I mean, more than anything, I would say Milwaukee waited too long to resolve this issue. Like they were in denial for an entire year. I was like, no, this is done, guys. We're done. Like there's no and I do think that they do kind of serve as like a warning to teams of just like just because you won the title this many years ago doesn't mean that core stays this good. The NBA is constantly evolving. You get teams like you see the Spurs. They built themselves to beat the Thunder. So trust me, teams are going to build themselves to try to beat you. Like and when you let that core age out, like it doesn't even matter if you get someone like Damian Lillard. It might not be him who's the problem. It might just be your other guys can't do it anymore. So I do like the Bucks. I get it. It's Giannis Antetokounmpo, the best player you've had since Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or Lou Alcindor, for being technical. Because that I think was he Lou Alcindor when he played for the Bucks?
Yes, and then switch over to no. I think he was Kareem by that time. I think he was Kareem at that time. When did he? Well, when did he change his name? I'll check right now. When
The
did?
point being is that you got the best player you've had in decades, and more importantly, one of the best players ever at the top of his game. Those guys you just can't trade unless they say, "I want to trade," which and I do think Giannis does.
71 is when he changes. So he was still with the Bucks. You're right. You're right.
So he does share. Giannis does share some of the blame that he was not upfront about this. That he was not like, "Okay, I want out." He kept passively saying, "Well, if you guys are thinking about trading me, I'd be okay with it," but he never said, "I want out. Like, please trade me." And I do think that has led to the situation. So the Bucks, they know the writing is on the wall. Like, it would shock me to high heavens if he's still on the Bucks. And at the same time, I am kind of disappointed that the Bucks did not see the problem, because like by dragging this out as long as they did, there's a very strong chance they're going to get so very, like, I won't say pennies on the dollar, but like maybe nickels on the dollar for what they should have anticipated for Giannis.
Because Golden State can throw four firsts at them, but they don't have much way left in players to get you excited. That's the problem. There are only a couple. There are only about 3 or 4 teams that can actually throw a good combination of attractive players and picks along with that. So we will wait and see what happens. Indeed, Houston is another team that could do that, but we will wait and see. Oh, I did want to mention on Kareem, he was using it privately from 1968 to 1971. Then after he won the world title with the Milwaukee Bucks is when he actually publicly asked to go ahead and be referred to as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So that's just to let everybody know because yeah, on that.
His name is Roger Murdoch, actually.
That's true indeed. Uh, if you know, you know, and I will leave it at that. But Matt, great to have you here. Anything you're working on before we head on out?
What I just published for the J Notes is that for everything that's going right for the Jazz, perhaps what's going most right, besides all the talent they've assembled, is their players. They've embraced Utah, and that's big because players don't typically. The narrative for years is that players typically don't want to come to Utah, and I think there has been some merit to that. But I do think, like, and KSL brought this up, that Ryan Smith has made a very smart, not only made a very strong effort, but a very smart one to make Utah more marketable to players. And I think part of that has been not just, obvious, like doing everything he can to make the Jazz more fashionable, but I also think like the hiring of Dwayne Wade, I think went a long way in making, like, he's one of the most popular players of this generation that definitely still has a rapport with the current players and former players. Like, I love the fact that, in an era where we're seeing owners kind of tear it down, we're seeing Smith go out of his way to try to make the Jazz the team that I think the fans have always wanted them to be. So,
Well, there you have it. Nobody knows the Jazz like Matt John. You please go ahead and check him out as far as the fan-sided experience. Yeah, I'm propping you up because and you got some good stuff there on the J Notes, thejnotes.com. You deserve it, man. You put a lot of good work into it, and you deserve to go ahead and get some props indeed on that. So if you want to go ahead and get the total deal on the Jazz, and I think you should, because I don't want to hear people going on this channel saying, "Wow, I didn't know the Jazz would be that good. I didn't know Jazz would be a." I have a feeling I will, Matt,
mhm.
and I'll just say you should have gone to the J notes.
The Jazz haven't given people much incentive to pay attention to them.
That's
But
true.
for that's why I think when they do kind of turn the corner, it is going to shock a lot of people. But
Yeah,
people who are paid to pay attention to them, I'm just like, oh yeah, like this could get dangerous.
that's why the futures here in Vegas on the Jazz are not all that high as they would normally be. I think that there are some keen sportsbook managers actually thinking what you're thinking, that there is the very good possibility that they could all put it together sooner rather than later indeed. But to go ahead and get the beat on what's going on with the Jazz, please go ahead and check out Matt John at the J Notes. Matt, great to have you back. Next time we talk, though, the finals could be done and the off season could begin. So that would be interesting to see. Because you know what? As soon as the finals end, the draft's on the way. Silly season has started with Giannis and all that stuff. As far as that could heat up, free agency here at the end of the month. Again, they've got it timed out right. The NBA does until August, and they have a really good thing going, and it's going to keep us talking for a little while longer.
And just wait, it'll be Aryeh Abraham season. We're gonna see all those fake insiders claim a bunch of crazy things. Like
That's the problem in our internet world that we have is a lot of clickbait indeed, as opposed to the substantive articles like the ones you write on J Notes. So oh, I can't wait for more of the how should I say the Jared Vanderbilt, DeAndre Ayton, Dalton Connect, Jake LaRavia. Don't you forgot Jake LaRavia that or whoever the article would, wrote that original. They forgot Jake LaRavia because I see his name being thrown around as well.
as much as I like to mock, trades like that, I am looking forward to seeing what the Lakers do because I do think they're going to try some things. And I do think with certain teams giving up, I've always said if the Celtics aren't going after Giannis, I think they should go after Gobert, and I think that logic also kind of applies to the Lakers. If it sounds like the Timberwolves are kind of done with Gobert, and if I'm the Lakers, I'm going after that. No holds barred.
Well, I don't know because I saw a couple articles as well saying that the Lakers could have a very boring summer, especially if they try to bring it back. I don't know if that means that's job security for Rob Pelinka. I think that he shouldn't. I think he should be on the hot seat, especially with everything going around him on the front office as far as all the new people they're bringing in. And the fact that you're in Lucas Prime and to throw away Lucas Prime on that by not doing enough is concerning to me. But again, we will wait and see. I'm going to give this some open time to see if he does go ahead and be able to improve the Lakers and give them a better chance to win in the Western Conference. So we will have to wait and see, Matt. But great to have you here as always. I look forward to our next conversation. Man, the Jazz are looking good, my friend, and we'll see what happens as soon as this season is over.
I mean, it's thinking down the line, but don't disagree whatsoever. And fingers crossed for them.
There you go, indeed. But whoever you go ahead and check out, if you want to check out the Jazz, the man you got to check out as far as at the J Notes is Matt John at the jnotes.com, part of the fan sided experience, indeed. Well, Matt and I will hopefully be back maybe before game 7, if there is one. Maybe as an epilogue to the finals. Who knows, man?
God has made it clear how wrong I am time and time again. So who knows if that'll keep going.
Thank goodness you're not here in Vegas. Put money on it. Oh my gosh. Same thing for me. I've been wrong a lot too lately. So as far as on those San Antonio predictions, so we will have to wait and see indeed. But again, great to have you here, Matt. Great to have you talking about what's going on with the league, the Jazz, the Lakers, the finals, and everything going on with your NBA observations.